from Bungoma, Gongwa, Mombasa, Vita. Today's topic is Market of the Powerful, the World's Headache. How have I come to talk about Market of the Powerful, the World's Headache? I'm talking about this because of things that happen around the world. This is a world problem all over. We start with resources. You find that there are people who have got resources. They may even be rare resources. But the systems of the world oppress them to the point that they don't have money. So they take them at a throwaway price. The providers of the systems are poor. And those up in the system are rich. This one goes across the world. We have communities of farmers. They grow and labor in the market, in the garden, produce, but they are paid paltry amount of money, just little amount of money. And then maybe things like societies take over. And then they decide that they are not selling even to the country. They sell to countries abroad. All that profit and everything goes into their deep pockets. A small amount in the name of bonus is given later to the farmers. They remain poor, oppressed by the powerful. Yes, it does not only stop there. It goes even to other countries. There are people who go to countries and disappear there because the countries started their development earlier, and those are purportedly the countries with zero tolerance to corruption. But from those who have been to those countries, they say you enter those countries, there are cartels. And then you can be able to disappear from the radar. And these cartels will give you work permits, fake ones of course. And the people also pretend. They don't know they are fake. So it reaches a certain time when now they demand everything. That's when they know you have overstayed or you have not agreed. So automatically, you knowing that that is fake, and you know they know it's fake, you move to another place, and the pretense game goes on. But there's no corruption. We've seen in places worldwide, maybe towns, maybe whatever, there will be social services. Sometimes people pay for them. Sometimes they're supposed to be free, but you pay for them. There are also other services across the world, many places. You pay for services, maybe disposal of things, maybe the necessary commodities you need, like water, like electricity, like the rest. Because in some countries I hear the gases, those ones are more strict because the gas comes and it has a meter. There are places you find the same things. There are thugs that do things that they do. They manipulate things. And whether things are high or not, you have to do as they wish. Because if you don't have the powers to. Everything will be closed out to you. And where do you go to? To the very same people who manage whatever is happening. So you get to them, to complain to them, where they tell you that there is nothing. Everything is proper. It's okay. It's above board. So the poor person is left wondering, what do I do? It's only God and yourself that you have in this world. There are things that have happened. You find countries with extortionist gangs. They start from paying the rent, paying whatever, everything. But those countries, those towns, those everything are above board. So you find that within the systems worldwide, people complain of corrupt systems, corrupt everything, but they never look at they themselves. In the African custom, there is a saying that if you point one finger at somebody, 3 fingers point back at you. What does it mean? Am I keeping myself clean in the first place before I point fingers at the others? Because we are all champions of fighting corruption while we want to remain corrupt. We are all champions of seeing things that are happening in other places, big places, whereas we don't want to look at ourselves. We don't want to be talked about. No, it will destroy what we are used to. It will remove us from the comfort zone. But the others have to change their ways. Why am I talking about this? I'm talking about this because whatever happens on the upper places in society is a reflection of what is happening down. So as we ask for bigger people, for bigger offices to reform, then it is upon us, incumbent upon us, to reform ourselves. We don't have to have nature fighting us. Wangari Maathai said, Mother Nature is very unforgiving. Do we need God to use earthquakes? Do we use God to use other methods so that we feel God is angry? Whereas there are things God has put ethics for us. There are things we know we should change. Sometimes some people become the madmen of the market. You walk and do all those things. You are denied things and you move alone and do all that. But in the African society, they say, every market has a madman. There has to be a madman. And madmen are the ones who show the nakedness. There was a time when I was a small boy, there used to be a madman at our place and we would see him and run away from him. He was not violent. He would sometimes move naked. The same occurrence happened when I moved to where we were staying when we were young. And there was a madman. Nowadays they are rare because they are kept in institutions, but you still see them. But the world sometimes needs madmen to move around showing the nakedness. That is what God chooses some people to do. Walk naked. Shout. Show where the problem is. Because everybody is a pretender. We are all clean. But they are all wicked. They are all corrupt. We are not corrupt. We can do anything we wish. But we are not corrupt. They are corrupt. So, a madman of the market has to be there to show the nakedness of the society. So that as we ask the people in bigger offices, in other places to dress, to clothe up, we should not be telling them when we are naked, everything hanging out, and we are telling people, you see, you are not dressed, and we are naked. Why am I talking about this? There are also people who have risen through ranks from poverty up. But when we get up, we forget that we were once down there. How would God feel when we oppress other people? There are times when the earth weeps for us. The time I watched, when I was still a young boy, there used to be cartoons on TV, and here TV used to operate. Cartoons used to be 4 o'clock. The TVs would be switched on at 4 and would be switched off at midnight with the national anthem. And there was a time I saw a cartoon about space, people going into space. It was a cartoon. And somebody who had come from Earth went there and got a lot of sufferings on another planet. And Mother Earth was crying for her. And when the craft crashed onto Earth, the girl died, but Mother Nature embraced her back to her, taking everything to. I was left wondering until when I heard the Nobel Prize winner in conservation talking of Mother Nature is sometimes very unforgiving. Mother Nature cries for the suffering of her people. That's why sometimes you'll find floods, you'll find things that you don't expect. Because men have tried to talk about this evil. Nobody listens until it reaches a time when now it's the norm. You remember there was a time when you see my past videos, there was a time when I was using a song, This is a System of Thugs. In the system ya majambazi. Until now, it comes to a time you also become a thug. So it becomes normalcy. It used to finish with the chorus, na sisi wenyewe ni majambazi. And we are also thugs. So it reaches a point when thuggery now enters everybody. Everybody embraces thuggery. It's a norm. It's the way you should do things. Until I loved the way those artists played, sang. They were expressing what was happening and what is happening in the world. Until they were saying now, even we are being followed by the point, there isn't enough time to steal. You see, expressing now, we have even left everything to do with society norms. We don't now care. We don't want even to be disturbed when we are doing evil. So why has this been coming? Because their moral standards. In the religious books, they say, God has written the laws in your heart, in your conscience. Your conscience is law number 1. Even before you go to the legal system, the laws that have been put there by the country. Your conscience should be law number 1. Am I in tandem with God? Am I in tandem with nature? If you are not, then you have to do something that has to change that. But there are times when we refuse until God, or God and the other bigger power, God knows whatever he does, has to make things like floods follow us, earthquakes, to try and get a point to tsunamis. Must it reach that point? We can't reform ourselves until nature now is crying. You are spoiling everything. Do I engulf you so that you know that I'm angry? So this is to call upon my brothers and sisters worldwide. Those in the systems, listen to those below. They know what they go through. You cannot have all the solutions for them. Those below, tell those high in the systems what you want. You will not be in cheer teams and expect them to know by miracle. Because what happened in the French Revolution was as a result of the upbringing of Antoinette. Was it in the Kingdom of Romania? Yeah, in the Kingdom of Romania. She grew up in a very rich family. She was a princess. And her mother was a great queen. Fought wars, defeated. And what happened is She was shut off from all the suffering in the world. So wherever things she did, there was no problems, nothing, everything comes easy. When she made that mistake in France, those people who are down revolved, and that was the first time they used the guillotine, and the guillotine was used on her and her family. So, for those who are up also, listen to those who are down. They know also what they need. You don't have a prescription to all of them. And let them talk. I was looking at this. I was looking at what is happening around the world, what is happening in nature. We're having calamities. I know others will start running around saying the last days. I told you about, we now know about all the religious books, so there's nothing more I'm going to. If you have watched the past videos, you know. God is in charge of the universe. God is in charge of nature. Nobody knows when the last days will be, so don't be thrown in a panic. But when certain things start happening, we should ask ourselves, what is God telling us? Do we go on with everything as usual? Because the earth has got capabilities. When you see fossils, always remember those who are animals of species you don't understand. You try to reconstruct with computer. Actually, we don't know what they, and we don't know what happened. But from the fossils, from the skeletons, we have had a full mammoth uncovered in Siberia. So we see there was an animal that looked like an elephant. It is a mammoth. Whatever happened, we don't know. There are times when we can force Mother Nature to react. Punish us. We should try and avoid that path. Let's be truthful. In our small positions, let's not oppress those below us, because God feels, nature feels. You may think you are superior, but God may be seeing that person lower than you in a higher esteem. So, I would like to finish by reading Psalms. Psalms I know is neutral. This one, the Psalms in the Quran are the Psalms in the Torah and the Torah of the Israelites. It is the same Psalm. It says it was written by David. So I'm going to read Psalms 10, 11 to 18. The wicked think God isn't watching us. He has closed his eyes and won't see what we do. That's what the wicked think. But you remember from my description of God, God is with us, within us, outside us, without us, within, without. I know when you say without, people think it's not we. God is everywhere, inside us, outside us. So the wicked think God isn't watching us. He has closed his eyes and won't see what we do. Then 12 goes, arise, O Lord, punish the wicked, O God, do not ignore the helpless. These are the people who will bring you curses. These are the people who will bring you destruction. Don't take their property. Do not amass wealth at their expense. Their tears shall be heard by God, and the earth will cry with floods. The earth will cry with tsunamis. America has been hit by tsunamis also. They don't just come. We shall say it's nature. Things are happening that are not normal. It is God expressing, the earth crying out. Mother Nature is crying. We can't listen. Arise, O Lord, punish the wicked. O God, do not ignore the helpless. Why do the wicked get away with despising God? They think God will never call us to account. That is what they think. I like that. I'm repeating that again. Why do the wicked get away with despising God? They think God will never call us to account. They think. But you see the trouble and grief they cause. You take note of it and punish them. This is a verse that says punishment comes later. It comes in ways that you can't imagine. It comes in ways that you cannot be able to help yourself. The helpless put their trust in you, in God. You defend the orphans. Who are the orphaned people? People who the system has left. Even what is supposed to be theirs is snatched by the system. It's happening all over the world. Billionaires at the expense of the weak. Countries that have been bought. Everything does not belong. There are countries with, I was wondering, is it the, I was seeing something about, I saw something in the past about America and heard that the central bank does not belong to the state. Or something like that. So you find that, I don't know, you can check on that. So you find that when it reaches up to the very thing that controls your economy, when you go underneath, it's owned by other people. Then that's when God comes in. I was not talking of central bank, I was talking of Fort Knox, something of where the gold and whatever is kept. And it's not only that, it's all countries in the world. Those that coffers go drying up, those that do whatever, it is a system that has been put there for a purpose. But God comes to defend the orphans. God comes to defend those who have been oppressed. And even the representatives in the government systems can't listen to them because they are the oppressors. And this is how it goes. Break the arms of these wicked, evil people. Go after them until the last one is destroyed. That is, God will come after them. God himself. The Lord is king forever and ever. The godless nations will vanish from the land. Lord, you know the hopes of the helpless. God knows the hopes of the helpless. Surely you will hear their cries and comfort them. God remains the comforter of most nations. Because even those that have been put in positions of guarding their things, their property, their systems, are now the ones stealing from them. So what do you say? When big places in the world, across the whole continent, are experiencing the same thing. When we, in our official capacities, will do corrupt things, and know that when they come to complain, the same complaints will be brought to us. You can surcharge, you can overcharge, you can deny services that you charge, you can do whatever. And who will they ask? It will come back to our office and we shall show them their garbage. And yes, we show them their garbage. But remember, God will take revenge for them. It may be in ways that you cannot use the system. It may be on you personally and your family. Yes, it happens. We've had presidents. There was a president, is it Sudan? Who oppressed people and he ended up in prison. It's not only that. There was a president who was dealing with the drugs. He ended up in prison. And many other people. So what am I talking about? Be considerate, know there is God. And you can never be God. You can be elevated to any position, but you will never be God. That is what Nebuchadnezzar realized, according to the Bible. And Nebuchadnezzar, when he went, he had reformed. He was in tandem with God after going through a lot of hardship. That's the Bible story. So it finishes You will bring justice to the orphans and the oppressed, so mere people can no longer terrify them. And I repeat, listen carefully. You will bring justice to the orphans and the oppressed, so mere people can no longer terrify them. Worldwide, the systems may rise. We might have organizations that feel, after all, they are the world powers. Who else do you run to? They can oppress you. Who else do you run to? You may have systems within governments. They have risen or they are in the power. Who else do you run to? Let them read Psalms 10, 11 to 18. That is the word of God. You can ignore at your own peril. But God will act according to his word. He's a keeper of the helpless, the orphan, the poor, the downtrodden. Because there are times when people think they have got authority over men and you feel you can do anything. They not respond. Yes, they may not. But God gives them power to arise. Marie Antoinette realized that her comfort zone in Romania could not be her comfort zone in France. That is the message I'm sending to the world. Starting from our country, our town, other countries in Africa, countries in Europe, countries in America, countries in Asia, Australia. The South Pole, there are few people who live there. Mostly I hear the scientists. But even up to there. Because even the South Pole, the southern countries, some countries have divided. There is the Zone 4 and the Zone 4 and the Zone 4. Well, the rest of the countries are there. So you never know about the future, what will happen. But even up to those places, this is the message. Oppress at your own peril. That is my take for now.